Okay. All right. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Students' Union Question Time series. My name is Sharif. I'm a student and I'm on the Democracy Committee here at the LSE Students' Union. And today I'm talking to candidates running for positions in the upcoming elections. I'm here with Bali, Ines, Sebastiana, Mikhail, and Eileen, who are going to be running for the position of Education Officer. This is a sabbatical position. Hi guys, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Brilliant. So I'm guessing everyone's calling us from all over the world. We've tried to keep the structure as straightforward as possible because we're kind of working with this as we go along. If there are any issues at any point, we apologize in advance for them. The way that it's going to work is I'm going to ask candidates to first of all give their opening statements. That is going to be for 1 minute long. Candidates will speak in alphabetical order of their first name as I'm seeing it on the screen. After opening statements are done, I will then read out a series of questions to all candidates that we have received either from students or the Students' Union in general. And then I will actively call on candidates to raise their hand to say that they want to speak, and then I will verbally call out the person's name to speak, and only then please speak. This is so that we can have some sort of order, because otherwise it gets quite hectic on Zoom. Are there any questions before we start? Okay, brilliant. So with that, we're going to go into opening statements for the position of Education Officer at the LSE Students' Union. I'd like to call upon Bali first to give her opening statement when you're ready.
Just to check, is my mic okay?
Your mic is good. I'm going to be timing you. You may want to time yourself as well. When you have 10 seconds left, I'm going to do that on my screen, so make sure you're watching.
Give me a second so I can get a thing up to actually time myself so I know where I am.
We'll recommend everyone else to do this as well. My visual cues might not be the best sort of thing to go off of.
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay, when you're ready.
Okay. My name is Bali, and I'm standing for the Education Officer. So even without a pandemic at our doorstep, the stress that permeates the LSE campus is tangible and stops us from making the most of our time here. My campaign goals are simple. Make education at LSE more accessible and supportive. There are small changes that will make a real difference, like increasing the amount of plug sockets or extending library loans and making sure that all required reading is available online, which will free up mental and emotional space to engage with our education and the institution that we're a part of and to make it in our image. This means regular student-led teaching, learning and assessment reviews and assessing the attainment gaps for BAME and lower-income students. But why vote for me? I'm determined to make change, unafraid to speak up and passionate about education. I actually studied education at undergrad, which is a real degree that exists. I chaired student and staff boards, sat on staff meetings, etc. And as someone who is queer, disabled, and from a low-income background, inclusion, access, support, and representation aren't just buzzwords, but things that are an ongoing struggle to achieve. It would be an honor to be your education officer next year and to advocate for the changes and support that we as a student body need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bali. Brilliant start. Candidates, we are a bit stretched for time, so I'm going to have to start being stricter on time going forward. Just please be aware of it, and then when I do that, I may have to start verbally interrupting, just because we have a lot of candidates and a short schedule, I'm afraid. Okay, with that, I believe Eileen, you're next when you're ready. Eileen, you're muted. There we go.
Okay, cool. So hi everyone, I'm Eileen, and a bit about me. I study international relations and I played rugby and I picked up dance and I've also been involved with the Beaver. But the three main policies that I want to implement are first of all introducing more undergraduate research assistantships, and second of all introducing resources and support for student activist groups, student entrepreneurs, just everyone to be able to get involved in the LSE life as widely as possible. And finally, to accelerate the work that addresses decolonizing the curriculum and also the BME attainment gap. And so I will be readily available to talk to all students, regardless of background and experience, and I will fight for everyone. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Eileen. Okay, next up we have Ines, when you're ready.
Hi, my name is Ines and I'm not great with technology because I was on mute. I am a master's student. I study conflict studies, which is part of the Department of Government. I am a part-time student, so although I'm master's, I'll be here for the rest of this year and next year because I'm also working full-time. I am from Portugal and I have 3 goals for education as an education officer. I would like to introduce more course-specific internships, because I feel like although there's loads of internship programs running at LSE, for example, for my course, conflict, there's nothing really specific and tailored to us. I would also like to improve the course selection process. I spoke with a lot of people and this is one of the worst things we have. And I would also like to introduce sexual education to LSE because I feel like this is fit for the 21st century and there should be more information on health and safe practices for all. 1 minute.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, next we have Mikhail. In your own when you're ready.
Hi everyone. I'm Mikhail. I'm a master's in management student. So this is my first and last year at LSE. As an education officer, I promise to support students in their journey of learning the causes of things. So as a student, I encountered a number of issues that maybe are not visible, but that affect the quality of education a lot. And I promise to help students to speak up by organizing some speak up events where they can raise issues, find some people who will join them in finding solutions to these issues. Then I also want to make studies more tailored to our needs. So as a MEM student, I come from a different background, and generally in masters people come from different backgrounds, and there are a lot of course repetitions, so tailoring studies to needs is important. And then I would like to organize some interactive sessions,
Please wrap up.
Yeah, such as intellectual games. That's it. Thank you. Sorry for the delay.
Thank you, Mikhail. No worries. Sorry about that again. Please do keep track of time and do look out for the visual cues. Just helps you as well in terms of giving an overall speech. There will be loads of time as well to speak after your opening statement, so don't worry if you go slightly over. Sebastiana, go for it when you're ready.
Hi, I'm Sebastiano. I'm running for education officer. I'm a mature and part-time student at LSE in my second and final year. And I've worked in many positions at LSE, currently as an LSE Life Study Advisor. And there are many things I would like to do, but the first and foremost thing is that LSE needs to get the basic thing done right, and that is education. And we get it wrong so many times. And the basic fact that I want to try to help the school work on is explain students what the expectations are. Tell students what they should do. What does it mean become critical? What does it mean engage with the literature? What does it mean speak up? What does it mean to do so many things? And how are your assessments assessed? How is your feedback made? And what does it mean? And so many times professors don't say that, don't explain that. And I want to start from there so we can start and do what a school should do, which is educate first. And then I'll try and do everything else I can for students. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sebastiana. So in the next segment here, we're going to go into questions that have come in. I will say the question. If anyone has any issues hearing me, please say so freely. You won't get penalized for that. And we'll find some way to work around it. Once I've said the question, please physically raise your hand, and then I will verbally call you out, and then you can answer that question. Then we will go to the other candidates, and then every other candidate will also get a chance to ask the question. So if you don't get to go first, don't worry, but please do keep your microphone muted if you're not speaking so that you don't interrupt other students. So the question I would like to start off with is current coronavirus outbreak and the carry on into your term. What would you prioritize in terms of inclusivity with the workload despite the conditions? that we find them. Would anyone like to take this question? If you would like to, and then I'll call you out. Okay. Couldn't hear the question properly. Could I ask for help in reading the question?
Hi there, I can read it out.
It is
I've got it. So it's, what would you prioritise in discussions around inclusivity arrangements if the disruptions due to coronavirus carry on to your term?
brilliant. If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand. Sebastiano?
Yeah, I think it's really, really hard to make predictions now, but definitely we need to make sure that whatever changes will happen, students remain at the heart of what the school does. And on the subject of inclusivity, I think that going forward, as this things extends into next year, LSE needs to think very hard about teaching and how teaching is done and how assessments are done and how students will be able to access this or not be able to access this. If we keep working online, how do we help students who don't have access to Wi-Fi or who are in a different time zone? And then we need to be there and make sure that whatever decision LSE makes, we can tell them you can't think of the student body as just one thing. It's going to be multiple kinds of students that will have different problems, and there's not, I think, one simple solution to this apart from being there and making sure that we hear from students and we take them back to LSE.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Who would like to speak next? Polly?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the primary things at the moment is that there is a real emotional effect of everything going on with coronavirus, really dependent on the students themselves, whether it's because it makes specific access needs difficult for them or because of family worries, etc. And so we have to understand that a part of education and a part of the difficulties isn't just getting around the actual teaching arrangements, but is ensuring that we can be as supportive as possible in other manners. And in particular for students who are coming in, if you think about the incoming first years whose exam arrangements have been really, really disturbed and therefore probably are really quite worried about whether they're going to be able to get into LSE at all and their marks and all of those kinds of things. So I think there's a big area that the school needs to step up and that we need to advocate for.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Polly. Who would like to answer next? Ines?
So in practical terms, LSE needs to ensure more flexibility in regards to the deadlines. And we've been seeing some professors already taking this step, which, I mean, it's quite good on their part in terms of the deadlines and essay deadlines, also tutorial time zones. I've been having my tutorials online, as most of you probably have, and professors poll with the students where they are so they can see the time zones that they're in, so there can be a time for everybody. And also online exams, there needs to be ensured that everybody has access to a laptop with internet. Otherwise, it's going to be a complete unequal and unfair situation for a lot of people.
Okay, thank you very much. Who would like to speak next? Mikhail?
I think that one of the most important issues is to have a clear plan of how to address certain issues like this. So the thing that, in my opinion, creates a lot of stress and noise among students is that there is a lot of uncertainty. So, for example, we just received an email today that we'll know how the assessments will take place by April 3rd, I guess, and by the end of the term. So now we're just in a condition of waiting, and we don't know what we're waiting for. There is no clue or idea what it will be like. So, and this, in my opinion, creates a lot of stress, and this issue should be addressed.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mikhail. Eileen, would you like to go?
Yeah, so I agree with everything that everyone said. So in terms of communicating with students at a deeper level, and making sure that they fully understand what is going on, but also addressing specific needs. So for final year students, sort of addressing what's going to happen with graduation for first year students, first and second year students, understanding what that means for exams. But I think this also introduces a very interesting ethics of care that needs to be implemented across the school in terms of how you communicate with your professors, especially for students from a disadvantaged background, from a low income background, students that don't have access to Wi-Fi, and also ensuring that professors are able to deal with flexible arrangements. And also, I think one thing that I've learned from this is also the need for some sort of assessment diversification, which is something that I would like to prioritize as well.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. The next question is somewhat of a follow-up to this. A lot of you in your answers have noted that the department responses and student experiences are dependent on what individual professors, departments, etc. decide to do. What would you do to ensure that students from all departments are represented and advocated for effectively? Would anyone like to take that question or hear it repeated? Would anyone like to hear the question again? Yeah, here. Questions also in the chat now. We'll make sure that future questions are also posted. Okay, Eileen, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I think I would like to have a lot more focus groups that are representative of both, not just departments, but of different student groups, so such as women or BME students or disabled students, just going forward to make sure that every voice is heard equally, and so that whatever happens going forward, everyone is put at the center of it. So that's something that I would like to do.
Brilliant. Thank you. Would you like to speak next? You could raise your hand if you'd like to. Okay, Bolly.
I think this has been a massive issue that I've noted, and the difference between obviously like masters and undergrad and PhD, etc. So focus groups, definitely. I think those are a really, really good idea. But it's also about even the individual differences. It really depends on who your academic mentor is as to like how well you're guided in what you want to do. So I think the biggest thing is focus groups, making sure that the whole process is less stressful so that people actually have the time to go and meet people and to discuss these issues and to share these issues and to really like workshop their own solutions. But I think also just ensuring that there's enough student representation on various staff boards and teaching boards so that they actually are there when the staff are making the big decisions about their education.
Okay, brilliant. Who would like to speak next? Sebastiano?
Yeah, so this is a very thorny issue because LSE has been sort of founded to be very compartmentalized and sort of siloed. So I don't think it will be easy for anyone sort of bridge that gap. I think as officers of the student union, probably the most important thing we could do is pay a lot of attention to SSLC rep on courses and within departments and try to make sure that they understand what kind of processes they can act on, what kind of change they can advocate for within the department, and try to get from them a sense of what are the most important issues within the departments. And to try and make sure things then sort of are extended to the whole school, especially in the teaching side. I think whoever gets this role should get involved with the Eden Center, who looks after professors, trains new professors, and sort of helps them develop skills. So it would be good to sort of have also that voice at the table.
Thank you very much, Sebastiano. Okay, Mikhail, I believe you're due to speak if you like. Or Ines as well, I believe. Who would like to go next? Mikhail?
So I agree with everyone, and I think, yeah, that it's very important to hear students first to understand what the problems are, and how I think that they experience LSC differently, how this difference is present, what can be done to address this this problem and to come up with a change. So after collecting this information and having sort of some understanding of what the problem is, we can provide a feedback to the department and set some maybe goals and criteria of what students would like to see departments doing, and maybe advocate departments on how they can change some policies and compare some departments, see what practices there are. And I think that, yeah, this is an issue that is in place because of different subjects and different approaches of teaching, but then this can be addressed as well by listening to students and trying to change.
Thank you very much, Mikhail. Okay, Ines, when you're ready.
Hi, I would create two things. First of all, I would do sort of voluntary program representative or group representatives, like very informal, that could gather opinions of their peers, either it being from a module or a course, and they would drop in all their feedback. And I would do it also online, giving the times and just for ease, and people can just drop quick messages of their feedback and to be private and anonymous. So people who are afraid to speak out and to say something about a particular issue, which they wouldn't normally raise in an AGM or via more formal institutional university processes, that they could feel free to drop in, even if something which they would say, which is trivial, it might not be, and actually other people might think the same. And so I would do that, those two things.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And Ines, we will unfortunately be running over just slightly on this. The next question is going to be the penultimate question. You've all mentioned that you come from diverse backgrounds, and it's brilliant to see part-time, full-time, master's, and undergraduate students. The question is, what experience do you have in student leadership that makes you fit to carry out your policies and represent all students, even if they're not from the same educational status as you are right now, if you were elected? So what student leadership experience do you have to enact your policies and represent all students? Would anyone like to hear the question again? Okay. Would anyone like to answer the question? Sebastiano, thank you.
Yeah, so my experience in student representation in the kind of UK setting is limited to what I've done this year. I've been the mature and part-time student officer, which is our part-time role at the student union. And it helped me better understand what a union means here. I come from Italy, very different system. Student unions are nothing comparable to what we have here in the UK. So it's been very good to see how it works from the inside. It gave me experience. I've learned things. I haven't learned everything, absolutely. I think a role like this would involve a lot of learning and most of all, a lot of listening. So I have experience with the LSE Student Union specifically in a part-time role. It's been very good because it showed me how you can approach people at the school. I've liaised with pretty much all of the departments at LSE to try and collate information on how mature and part-time students are treated across departments. And I got a very good response. So I realized that when you present yourself as a representative of students, people at LSE tend to listen, even in graduate admission and other internal divisions. But there will be a lot to learn, definitely.
Thank you very much, Sebastiana. Who would like to speak next? You could raise your hand. Polly.
Yeah, as I noted in my introductory speech, I have done quite a lot in terms of student representation during my undergraduate. And so, yeah, liaising with departments can be difficult because obviously there's a lot that students want which we kind of like aren't possible for whatever institutional reason, but I think that's about communicating both ways, ensuring that students understand what we're actually able to do and why we aren't able to do quite everything that we would like to. And it's about talking to students of all groups basically, and ensuring that we work together with the other both part-time and full-time officers to get a real sense of everything that's going on across the school, really be talking to these, to the reps, etc. And be sure that we're humble ultimately. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Bolly. I have the remaining 3 candidates who would like to speak next. Hello, any of the Eileen?
Yeah, so I think personally I am quite an approachable person, and that's just been shown from my varied LSE experience. So I have been involved in the Beaver in the capacity of collective chair, which basically meant that I was going out ensuring that people were writing and engaging with the Beaver, which is the main way that students share their concerns. But outside of that, I've also been the secretary of the British People of Colour, and I've been involved in so many different societies that I feel that I could approach anyone and that anyone can approach me regardless of their background. And also just been involved in a lot of campaigns, so such as the Hands Off LSE and mental health. So as a person, I feel like I have a good grasp of what's going on at LSE, but I am also very open to anyone approaching me.
Brilliant, thank you. I have put our final question in the chat just so you all candidates have time to prepare. Please have a read. Ines and Mikhail, of you, who would like to speak next on the current question? Ines?
Yeah, so experience with student leadership. I was, during my undergraduate, for the 3 years, I was a student ambassador in my university. Also leadership as well, not just in, and as you said, Bali, liaising with the department, and then liaising with the university. That's what I did for 3 years. So I also understand the struggles, and we actually managed to implement lecture capture and a lot of policies which we had a lot of pushback for all other reasons, but in the end we succeeded. I also have leadership experience in the professional world, as I've been working and running campaigns, managing and funding, liaising with stakeholders, and all of that experience I could transpose as well to dealing with the university, because essentially it works the same a little bit as a company. So that'll be me being your champion.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ines. Mikhail, when you're ready.
So I've been in member of the student union for 2 years during my undergrads, and during this experience I helped a lot of students in establishing their clubs and societies, and also with their feedbacks from professors. I sort of ensured that they get consistent feedback from professors. Aside from this, to talk about leadership skills, I've led a team of 6 for 2.5 years in Radisson Blu Hotel. So I have a wide professional experience and occupied 3 managerial positions. That's it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mikhail. Now with that, we've come to our final question of the candidate's question time for Educations Officer. The question, it's what phrase best sums up your campaign? Now, a phrase doesn't have to be just a sentence, and it's not your slogan that you put on the LSESU website. It's a phrase that best sums up why you are the best candidate for the position. Candidates have had some time now to react to this question. Who would like to go first? It doesn't have to be long at all. It can be very short. Okay, Sebastiano.
Can I just ask for clarification? Is the question why are we the best candidate, or what sums up our campaign?
It's both. We're asking you to sum it up in a phrase so that it'll just be a short and pithy way to basically sum up both why you're the best candidate and your policies. Mikhail.
I actually would like to use just one word. I'm responsible. So if you ask me to do something, I will definitely do it, and I will do the best I can. Will not sleep for nights, work for long hours, which I do at LSE, and I think most of us do. I mean, I'll do everything I can to achieve my goal and not let you down. That's it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mikhail. Anyone else like to go next? Sebastiano.
Yeah, so my campaign is sort of fairly simple. LSE is a university, and a university is about education at its heart, and I want to help LSE to get the basics done right. So get your education right, and LSE should become, it's a very good research university that also does education. It should be a great research university that does great education. That's it.
Brilliant. Thank you. Who's next? Eileen.
Yes, so the phrase that best sums up my campaign is listening and delivering a more holistic student experience.
Thank you very much. Polly, Ines? Any phrase, word, ideas, thoughts?
Yeah, I wrote something down and then I got confused and I was like, how do I say that I'm the best candidate? I don't want to say that. So aside from the general panic, I just wrote down, listen, learn, get stuff done.
Brilliant. Very simple. Love it. Thank you. Ines?
I would say that LSE is already a very good school, but we can make it even better. We can do better. Our education can even be improved, and I will fight to make it so.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you all for making it here to this virtual candidates question time. Apologies again for any technical difficulties we had. To those watching the recording, please do engage with the process by voting and sharing this with your friends. I'd like to thank all the candidates, Polly, Ines, Sebastiano, Mikhail, and Eileen for coming here today in this virtual Zoom time. Take care, all of you, and best of luck in your campaigns.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.